Welcome back to the latest edition of the Gribbly's Folly Sunday Antisocial Hour, in which I, Gribbs, answer all of your questions, insult your tobacco, and your life choices. In the most handsome legend ever, I am smoking Peterson's University Flake. And this is a real roller coaster tobacco for me. I haven't had a pipe since my last video. I've just been too busy. It's been crazy here this week. And you know, when I think this tobacco just really depends on my mood. Sometimes I love it, and sometimes I'm like, it's such a delicate taste. You really gotta be in the mood. So, Gribbs, how can you be antisocial on Easter Sunday? It's Easter Sunday. Happy Easter to all of you Easter types out there. And I'll tell you how I can be antisocial. Easter is the story of Jesus, who was by all accounts a really nice guy, and by some accounts even the Son of God. And what do? We nailed him to a cross. And it wasn't just him. It was like, that was just like how we killed people back then. That was the way. That was the method of execution in Christ's time. What? We just, you know what? You got caught stealing a loaf of bread. We're going to nail you to a cross and break your legs, and you'll drown in your own blood in your lungs. Yeah. That's why I'm antisocial. You know, lately, I've just been thinking, I know that I am predisposed to drift into hermitude, right? And I don't want to do that. I want to still be an active member of communities and society. That's not true. I don't want to do that, but I feel like I should. I feel some pressure from my therapist, or I don't even see the therapist anymore, so it can't come from there. I feel some pressure to be social. But to use a biblical phrase, I feel like lately that whenever 2 or 3 are gathered together, some really fucked up shit happens. That's how I feel. You just can't get more than like a handful of people together without some crazy drama or some kind of ego fight, ego dick measuring contest. I'm just so bored with it. While we're on the religious motif, the theme, I was driving to my fishing spot yesterday, and I passed a little church on the side of the road. It said the sign out front, you know, with the letters, with the like slidable letters. Anyway, the sign out front, the church sign. I don't know why I'm trying to explain this. People know what church signs are, right? I mean, like, I feel like I'm in the Bible Belt here. Maybe there's like people in I don't know, the Northeast or somewhere that have never seen a church sign before. Anyway, churches have signs often down here, and and this sign said, "Happy Easter, all God ask is our best." All God ask is our best. I know this is total projection, but you just have to ask, like, you gotta think, what exactly, hey, Brother Joe Bob, would you mind going out and putting the sign up this week? Yeah, I'm all over that. By the way, Joe Bob, can you read? Are you a literate person? Maybe, you know, or maybe they just didn't have enough S's that week to say all God asks is our best. But you would think that they would then come up with another, I don't know, maybe my theory is that some folks just don't understand messaging. They just don't get that. It's like the Emma Watson Time's Up tattoo. Like, Emma, you're awesome, but maybe if you had just like looked at your arm and been like, time's up. Oh, maybe I should get a ballpoint pen and just make a little apostrophe right there. We could actually talk about the issue rather than me being a total dumbass. I'm sorry. I'm in a terrible mood. I'm in a terrible mood this morning because, of course, it's Easter, and of course that means family all day, right? Cheers to that. But I don't know why I did this, but I was sitting down at my desk this morning drinking my coffee, and I was like, I'll check my email. Because that's always a great idea on a Sunday morning, right? I don't have to work today. I don't have any appointments. I'll just check my email just in case. Just in case someone wants to book a last minute shoot with me and I want to make $1 million today. Just in case that's going to happen. Oh no, look, it's from my accountant. Oh look, I owe the government $1,000. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, that's just going to make this day so much better. It's always a form letter from the accountant. It's just like, we're going to auto draft this to the IRS on such and such a date. You cool with that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally cool. Yeah, I've got an extra $1,000 in that account. Sure, no problem. Just suck it right out of there. So that's why I'm a little bit distracted and curmudgeonly this Easter. Instead of experiencing the peace and rejuvenation of God's continual grace, I am choosing to be a total dick about things. Not going to make a different choice. I'm just aware that this is my choice. I could be happy, but nobody wants to be happy. This is 2018 America. We're not here to be happy. We're here to bitch and moan at each other on the internet, right? So, welcome. Let's get to your questions. I never did, there's the other thing. Talking to you guys always make me forget to actually drink my coffee. So, hang on a second, and I'm going to make you watch while I drink my coffee. What great coffee. Okay, hang on a second. Now for the part of the episode where I, Gribbs, answers your questions that you pose to me with the hashtag AskGribbs hashtag, and we'll get right into it with John Galdieri's question about Easter, which I totally have. This isn't the right file. Hang on. Stupid Google. Okay. John Galdieri asks, what is your fondest memory of Easter Sunday from your childhood? Well, John, that is a tricky question. And it's not to say that I don't appreciate Easter in general. I mean, obviously, I've spent most of this video talking about how I love Easter. Funny you should ask this question. I haven't been to an Easter service since it's been 8 years. It's been 8 years since I've been to an Easter service. And my wife and son are at an Easter service right now. When you grow up as a minister's kid, you get really jaded about the church. You get jaded about the church. And that's why I said the thing earlier, whenever 2 or 3 are gathered together, man, I don't want to be in the room. So, I don't have a lot of fun Easter memories. I really liked the egg dyeing process. And of course, having OCD, like I do, as a child, I really got into exactly how red can I make this egg. And then I didn't like everyone wanted to draw on the eggs and like put other stuff. No, I wanted a pure red egg and a pure blue egg and a pure yellow egg. Like, these were like primary colors, right? And they shouldn't be messed with. And it just drove me nuts that everyone else was like drawing in crayons on the egg. Now I'm like, oh, that's great. That's really creative. But back in the day, man, I just wanted solid color eggs. But at least I had a mother who also has OCD, and she could relate. And so I do have very fond memories, the smell of all the chemicals and stuff, whatever, battery acid you use to dye eggs, I don't know. And the little copper dipper thing. We just did this, or my wife just did this with my kid yesterday. I was fishing like the father of the year that I am. And those are some fond memories of dyeing eggs. I do have a very early memory of finding a yellow egg in the daffodils. Are daffodils yellow? There was some yellow flower, egg-shaped flower. Tulips? I don't know. It must have been a marijuana plant that my parents had, and it was flowering, and the flowers were yellow, and there was an egg in there. And I do remember that. Other than that, I don't have a lot of Easter memories. And while we're on the subject, that's one of the ways in which the church really fails to do its job. because what, we spend 3 months on Christmas, right? Like, Christmas starts in October, and the reality is Christmas really isn't all that important to the whole Christian theology. So what, why, what? I mean, part of it is, obviously the big deal is that Christmas is a cultural thing and Easter is still a Christian thing. You get the Easter Bunny in there and all that other Satanist stuff, but in our society, we all celebrate Christmas, even if it's just, put up a Christmas tree and give each other gifts. But the only people that really talk about the reasons behind the Easter thing are, the choir, or preaching to the choir. And so, if the church would do a better job at elevating Easter to the status of Christmas and maybe decreasing Christmas a little bit so as not to participate in the worldly commercialism and all that stuff that is kind of counter to the Christian ethos, If the church would do that, I would have better memories of Easter as a child, and I would not have to cry into my coffee when John Galdieri asked me these questions. Speaking of OCD, Derek Tant and some of his buddies have a podcast, and they talked about OCD and me. Apparently, I am now the YouTube poster boy for OCD. Anyway, his podcast, I don't really know what a podcast is. Y'all, maybe someone can enlighten me. But it seems like a podcast these days is just an audio file you make public on the internet. Is that accurate? Like, does anything actually cast to your pod anymore? I never had an iPod. I never wanted to connect it to the internet. I don't like things connected to the internet other than my web browser, right? So I don't know what podcasts are. I'm a total grandpa, right? I'm completely out of the loop. I smoke a pipe. I fly fish. I don't know what podcasts are, and get the hell off my lawn. But the point I'm trying to make is that Derek and some of his buddies, I know, shocker, Derek has buddies. Yeah. Anyway, Derek Tant mentioned me in his Hey We're Talking podcast, which is also on YouTube. So that I know how to connect with, and I did connect with it. I'm subscribed. Everyone should go subscribe. Hey We're Talking. Go check it out. They talk about fun stuff that we can all relate to, like mental illness. While we're giving shout-outs, Pipe Smoking Board Gamer requested a shout-out, and I am here to please. So everyone go check out Pipe Smoking Board Gamer. There are many facets to why his channel is great, but I still go back to the pipe smoking and the Cthulhu mask. It just doesn't get any better than that. Now, Pipe Smoking Board Gamer has some questions. Let's see. I'll just read his whole comment. Here we go. You make me nervous every damn time I watch you, because in the past video I was talking about guns and Planned Parenthood, and even to the point where I physically cringe as I sit here in this Milwaukee cafe for all to see. Thankfully, you always reel me back in at that final moment. Well, I must admit some Schadenfreude glee at the idea of you like physically cringing watching a video in a cafe. I think that's good. Yes, I like to, I have certain boundaries. I have certain boundaries that I'm not going to discuss my own views on guns or I mean, you guys know my views on guns, but like, I don't want to get into that argument. And we're going to talk a little bit in a minute about why I don't. Apparently, we're going to talk a little bit in a minute about why I don't have enough storage on my phone. What a newbie mistake. I apologize thoroughly. I don't get into those arguments because there's plenty of better places you can go to get into those arguments. I don't want to participate in those arguments. And those arguments are false arguments. The guns and the abortions and the big social issues of our day, those don't really matter. And what matters more is how people argue back and forth about them. This is back to the basics of the Gribbly philosophy, the Gribbly Let's drink some more coffee. Pipe Smoking Board Gamer is never short on questions, and this week he hashtag asks Gribbs to ask the Bible Thumper a few hard-hitting questions, and I must say that the Bible Thumper could not come to the table to discuss this week. His wrist is broken. He cannot type. He broke it. It was thumping the Bible too hard. No, actually, it was never fair of me to include the Bible Thumper because I just kind of threw it out impromptu in a video. Oh, I'll ask this guy I know, and I didn't tell him until later. I was like, oh, by the way, I'm going to be sending you questions every week. Whoops. So he has a lot of stuff going on, and he does not have time to answer my stupid questions from YouTube. Well, y'all, the questions aren't stupid. You guys are posing very good questions, but it is my stupid YouTube channel. So anyway, he does have a real life. What I'm saying, though, is the important thing is that you guys can trust that any question that you ask with the hashtag AskGribbs hashtag will be answered. And so now I will take on all of Pipe Smoking Board Gamer's questions for the Bible Thumper. Are you ready? How old is the Earth? Really, really old. If I think evil thoughts, am I evil? No. You're evil because you're a human being. Would you kill your own child if God asked you to? Well, considering there's a lot of things that God asked me to do that I don't do anyway, no. No, I'm not gonna. If I can't just be nice to my neighbor, then no, there's no way I'm gonna kill my own child. Sorry. Percentage-wise, how confident are you that your beliefs are 100% correct? Oh, like 5%. Like, yeah, I have no idea what's going on. I just do the best I can. This week, John Waxaroni refers to last week's man bun response. I cannot believe you said you would smoke Elizabethan mixture. Right. I thought you said it made you sick. It does make me sick. And here's the thing. If I have a glitter beard and a man bun, whatever I did to get me to that state needs to be expunged from my body, right? So that is why I chose Elizabethan mixture. Derek Tant asked Gribbs, who do you think will win the presidential election in 2020? Who do you want it to be? No. I am now firmly of the belief that anyone who wants the job is unequipped to have it. I think, you know, I don't want anyone to, no, I want to have a vacancy. I want to have a 4-year vacancy in the office of president. Sorry. We just can't do anything right now. We'll be, you know, we'll out to lunch. We'll be back in, 4 years. That's kind of how I feel about it at this point. And actually, I mean, I think if I really stick to my guns on the Gribblerian worldview, I think I really don't care ever again, who the president is, because I don't think that the longer term, bigger picture, larger scope, fundamental Machiavellian real politics stuff is all that likely to change no matter who the president is. Let me relight my pipe before I pontificate further. I don't make predictions anymore because they were wrong. All the ones I ever made were wrong. So, well, that's not true. That's not true. I predicted that Trump would win the primary and the presidency when everyone else was saying I was an idiot. I predicted all that. But I did not correctly predict what would happen in the first year of Trump's administration. So, rather than eat crow, I don't want to make any more predictions. But if I, just because all questions go answered, no question goes unanswered here. I'm not convinced we will have a presidential election in 2020. I mean, we will. But hey, Russia has them all the time, right? I mean, look who they just elected again. So, I don't think that Donald Trump could win another fair election. And that's not to say that I think he's going to try to rig it. I think he'll probably. If I had to make a guess, this is not a prediction, it's a guess. Whoever the Democrats run will beat Trump handily. And I would imagine that they would, I mean, they're going to look hard at Elizabeth Warren, and I think they're, I think that's a bad move, but, Joe Biden is old, damaged goods. I mean, Timber Drifter commented on my video about his comment with a double-barrel shotgun. I mean, he's just so easy to ridicule. They don't have a lot of good options, but as I said, I mean, I think Tim Kaine would be a good option for them. I think he would wipe the floor with Donald Trump and would have actually if Hillary had had the good sense to bow out when she. I can't believe I'm talking about this. But I feel like the last moment for Americans to really turn things around was when Hillary fainted at the 9/11 memorial during the campaign. That would have been a great time for the Democrats to say, hey, Hill Dog, you had a good run. Maybe you should step aside. Considering the fact that you're polling 50-50 with Donald Trump, maybe you should step aside, let Tim Kaine run, and I think we would be talking about President Kaine right now. And, so I guess if I were to entertain this question seriously, I would say that Tim Kaine would be a good choice to run in 2020 and would have no problem beating Trump. But again, I don't really know. I have no idea. I don't follow this stuff that closely anymore. Not a prediction. Now, who do I want to win? Don't care at all. Really don't. Other than just sort of mild academic curiosity. This is not something I'm invested in anymore. Does that answer your question? No, it doesn't. Rand Paul. Here, I'll just pick a name. I like Rand Paul. I was very upset that he actually endorsed Trump in the primaries. But he seems like a guy who is outside the usual framework while not being Trump crazy, Roy Moore crazy. Like, I agree with the assertion that the establishment is broken, because it clearly is. What I don't agree with is that you then need a carnival barker to be your candidate. John Ferguson, the third John of the day, asks, what is the point of this madness? And I don't know, John. That is the most honest answer I can give you. I just spent 4 minutes talking about who the president should be in 2020. That's categorically something I don't talk about anymore. Why did I talk about that? I don't know. I'm sorry. Please go watch some fail videos or something. David, 35445, a good friend of the channel and benefactor of my fishing career, asked Gribbs to ask the Witch and the Bible Thumper, Pepsi or Coke. Well, one of them doesn't drink soda, and the other is really, really into Mountain Dew. I'll let you figure out which one. As a follow-up, can mankind ever hope to evolve past secular-based beliefs, or are we programmed to behave like sheep when faced with life's big mysteries? So things are improving, right? The world is getting better. Especially the first world, we're doing a lot better in terms of infant mortality and civil rights and all that stuff. Economies are good. We haven't had a really major war in a long time. Things are getting better, but I tend to think that people will always be people. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I think it should. And that's it for this Easter Sunday antisocial. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your pipes. I've been super busy this week. I have a bunch of footage that I shot that I want to get out there to you. But right now I have to go mow the lawn so my kid can look for Easter eggs without finding a damn, rattlesnake or something like that. And plus my family's coming over and I want the house to look good for some reason. For some reason we want to tell this total lie that we live this neat, orderly life. Whatever. Keep the ends out for the ties up on.